Hey guys, so we know that many of you are worried about where the real estate market is headed in the next year.
Right.
So we wanted to give you some tools to equip you to go into next year ready and prepared.
Right.
So we have created
The database course.
the database course.
Right.
Through this course, we want you to learn how to work repeat and referral business mostly.
Right. This is the foundation of a solid business that can weather a change in the market.
Yes.
It is also the most fun business that you can do.
It's the safest.
That's
it's
right.
the easiest. It's just the best business, repeat and referral business.
And if you keep saying, oh, I wish I had a database or I want to use my database now's the time to do it.
Yes, and the good news is Module 1 is free.
Free!
Module 1 is all about transforming your mindset into providing value, that you are valuable and that you are not a bother and that you are not salesy. And then it also walks you through setting up a database from scratch or sprucing up one that you have, and it's free.
Free.
We know that this is important information, so we wanted Module 1 to be free so you can start now and enter next year strong.
That's right.
The remainder of the course will teach you how to grow, use, and maintain your database.
Yes.
So that you have solid relationships with your people that leads to repeat and referral business.
That's right. And you'll even get the prospecting templates, which will literally give you the words, what to say.
Yes, we have written and done the work for you so that you can check in and make conversions. If you don't have people and you don't work on your relationships, you won't have business. We cannot sell houses without people.
That's right.
So the database course will weather you through whatever the next year brings and will only get you ahead in your business and leave you thriving.
That's right. So go learn more at thedatabasecourse.com.
Thedatabasecourse.com. Easy.
Easy.
We hope you enjoy it, and we hope that this eases your anxiety and lets you know that we are going to conquer next year.
That's right. The consistent will survive.
Yes. We're not just going to survive, we're going to thrive. So if there's a free trial on any of these, I've tried it. I don't like when people say touch your database. You have touched that one person 297 times. They probably hate you at this point. Sometimes it's 15 or 20 people's birthday.
Okay.
And if I don't know them, I unfriend them. Happy birthday. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly. It's Alyssa and Katie, and we are two top producing realtors in the Baton Rouge market.
We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths.
Hey, Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
It's episode, I like how excited you are. It's episode 171.
Which is also episode 9.
People are like, what the heck?
What are you talking about?
So what are we doing? Tell them.
So as of today,
That's
the
right.
database course
The database course
is out.
Do you like how we named it so cleverly?
A lot of thought went into that
It actually
name.
did, sadly, and that's what we came to.
I think it's great. It's solid.
It's
direct to the point.
That's what it is.
That's all you need to know.
Database course.
And so because we're really into our database right now, as you should be too, because
so important at the
now
holidays.
is the time to really be working your database.
Yeah.
It's holiday time.
That's right.
It's easy to ask for contact information.
Yep.
Hey, Susie, I'm about to send out Christmas cards. Can I have your updated address? Sure.
Yes.
Bam. Database updated.
Right. So we thought, okay, why not go back to the beginning and our original sentiments of how we worked our database and why that was so important to us was episode 9.
Episode 9 is really the foundation of your business.
And nothing has changed about that being the foundation of our business. And not everyone has heard episode 9.
If you do not have people, and if you are not nurturing the relationships you have with your people, you will not have business.
That's right.
So this is the perfect time to replay episode 9.
Yep.
We're pulling from the archive.
Yeah, your fan favorites.
This is a fan
It always
favorite.
was in the top 10. For quite a long time, it was in the top 10. And then as we got more and more listeners, not everyone went all the way back.
Well, this is one that's easy to listen to more than once because you always need a refresher.
For sure.
This is a good one.
But I really do feel like what we talk about in this episode, we've now expanded into course form. So
Yes.
you have like
So
all this information.
yes, if you have a database and you're not using it well, you need the database course.
Right.
The database is the foundation of your business. You have to have people to have business. And if you are working and providing value to your people, you will have repeat and referral business, which
Right.
is the best, easiest, happiest, most
Safest.
stress-free, safest business you could have.
Yeah, there is no business superior.
None.
That one is the best.
And we know we have a lot of our listeners stressing about what will next year look like.
Mhm.
We don't know, but this is bulletproof.
Right.
This will sustain you
Mhm.
through any changes in the market.
That's right.
As long as you are taking care of your people, you will survive.
Yes.
The strong will survive.
The strong will survive.
But you have to be intentional and you have
the
to work your
consistent will survive.
Yes,
The
yes.
consistent will survive.
So check out the database course and listen to this episode this
Yeah.
week as
Well,
a great refresher.
Okay, before we hit play, why don't you tell them a little bit about what is in the database course?
Sure.
Do you remember the modules? Break it down for them.
Okay, so we begin the database course with either starting a database
Right, from scratch. Mhm.
or just sprucing and revamping the one you have
Yeah.
and making sure that your setup is
Right.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into sorting our people. Do they belong in the database? Do they belong in an email list?
Right.
Where do they go?
Yep.
And then we jump into growing
Mm-hmm.
and pruning your database.
Sometimes your database was way too big.
way too big, people on there you don't want to work with.
Yeah, a bunch of online leads or
Yeah.
some kind of garbage. Like 6,000 people on a database
Too
is
much.
that's not
That's
okay.
not a database.
That's something different. That's an email list.
which the course explains.
Yeah.
And then we get into actually using and
Right.
working your
How
database
do you
as
talk
a
to
way to build
Mhm.
relationships. And then we end with module 5, which gives you a schedule of a prospecting schedule
Yeah.
of how to communicate with your
Right.
people, as well as several prospecting templates
Templates.
to reach out to them and communicate with them.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of the email templates, these are the prospecting version.
Yes,
How
module
do we
5.
talk to these people?
So by the end of the database course, you should be overcome with peace and security and confidence that you have the people and the relationships you need in your life
And a plan.
and a plan to sustain these next few years of business. And you're going to come out so far ahead of everybody else.
Yep. I agree. It's going to be amazing. So if you want to learn about the database course, wait till you hear this clever website we got.
It's just as clever as the course name.
Wait for it. Ready? Get your pen and paper. TheDatabaseCourse.com.
Whoa.
Wow.
How am I going to remember that?
Groundbreaking.
Yes.
TheDatabaseCourse.com. You can go there now. Oh, here's the other thing. Maybe you don't feel like you want to buy a course right now. That's okay. Guess what? Module 1, the setup portion of your database, is free.
Awesome.
Free. Anyone can have that because we feel like this is such a huge foundation of your business.
It's so important.
It is the cornerstone of your business. So we want everyone to have access to that information that tells you the logistics of how to set it up.
Yes.
And that, of course, comes with, you'll hear in episode 9, what we've always given away for free, which is our template.
Yeah, the spreadsheet for starting your database.
So you will find that in module 1, and you have everything you need in module 1 to set up and get started.
Awesome. You can do it, guys. We're going to make it through these next few years. We got this.
We can do this. So
we're not just going to survive. We're going to thrive.
It'll be fun to go back and listen to the 3-year ago version of us talking about this.
Oh, yes. We're supposed to let a note from Jay. Our sound quality
and video quality.
If you are a YouTube watcher, is subpar.
So, prepare your ears and your eyes for traveling way back in time to 2019.
Yes, when we were just wee
Podcast
little
babies.
podcasters.
That's right. Okay, so let's listen.
Yes.
Okay, here you go. Enjoy.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
This is episode 9 of Hustle Humbly Podcast.
Episode 9. Yep. Very exciting.
And today we're talking all about how we work our database, what we use, what systems we have in place, what systems we don't have in place, what works, what doesn't work.
Yep.
And we have a lot of good content.
Well, working your database is so fun.
It is fun. It's the funnest part of our job. And I feel like so many people aren't doing it properly. Or at
They
all.
don't do it at all.
Yeah,
Let's
you're
be
right.
honest. It's not that they're not doing it properly. There probably is no right or wrong way to do your database if you're actually talking to them.
Yes, but so many people aren't talking to them at all, and that is a problem.
That's when you're doing it wrong.
Yes, that's when you're just going to be working so hard and you're not going to reap any of the benefits of your referral system.
Well, you need to, you have to be in touch with these people. I like when you say you can't be a secret agent. That is true.
Yes. Well, I think that both of us use an Excel spreadsheet. Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay, it's not a very advanced technologically system. It is the easiest for me because I like to see it all at once.
Yes.
And I feel like having a broad view of who all the people are, what all of their, emails and phone numbers are, and when, you last talked to them, or if you're, and I have a column that's, are we friends on Facebook?
Oh.
Which I think is super helpful.
That is
because we're kind of
helpful.
going to get into later that a lot of my database, I'm going to talk to them through social media.
Sure.
So I think it's all there in one thing. I've tried the systems. I haven't done Top Producer, but we know
I did. I tried it.
How did it go?
So if there's a free trial on any of these, I've tried it. I have downloaded it. And the reason everything is in an Excel spreadsheet, and this is a good way to start any new agents. When I was a new agent, I did not start off with a good database. Year 2, I was like, I should probably have all my people in one place.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to work backwards. But you have got to have all your people in one place. So the reason it became a database is because anytime I wanted to do a free trial, you can just import.
Okay.
And then it's all there. You don't have to spend hours and hours and hours setting up this thing that you want to try out. And then if it doesn't work out, you just export, no harm, done.
So the spreadsheet is born out of need because you can use it in any system.
And then after doing, I think I did 3 or 4 free trials on CRMs. Is it that CRM?
Yeah, CRM. That's what they're, oh gosh, don't make me do it.
Oh man.
It's management, customer
relationship management.
Yes.
Something.
There you go.
CRMs. So that is where that's why I developed the Excel spreadsheet, so I could do all these free trials easily. But then after so many fails, I was like, I like my spreadsheet.
What do you like about it?
What I found when I was trying these fancy CRMs is that they would yell at me.
Do you feel like you were inadequate because you weren't doing all the tasks?
Yes, it was sending me things, and then it was one of the programs I put that this was a referral from another agent, and it was trying to calculate income and label, like it was trying to give me percentages on and I was like, I don't need a system to do any of this.
Right.
If I labeled it as the wrong thing, that set other things into place that I didn't want. I would log in and it would have a list of 20 people for me to call that day. You haven't talked to this person in 1 month. And I was like, I don't need to talk to them every month. I think that's too much. But it didn't so overall, I didn't need all of the bells and whistles. I just needed a place to keep all of my people that I would use. Right. And that made my brain feel okay and organized. And with Excel, it's all there. It's simple. There's not too much information.
So we're removing the overwhelm of it.
Yes.
It should be actually a fun activity.
Yes. And I think if you have found a database that you like, as long as you have all your clients in one place.
Okay.
And that you are actually using it.
Oh, that's that little thing they say. The best CRM is the one that you'll use.
Yes.
But we both have really pared it down to just being an Excel spreadsheet.
Yes.
It's easiest.
So my column is first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, source, meaning who are they, where did they come from,
okay,
and then date of last contact and how. Okay. So it might say sent a text in October.
Okay.
But my source, my how I contacted them last, it doesn't have to be a big, huge thing.
Right.
It can just be something simple.
Yes. Can we talk just while you're on that? So my original introduction to you and the webinar you gave for CRS, you talked about your spreadsheet.
Yes.
And how you were touching, we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
How you were touching your database. And it was interesting because the how you last contacted column really stuck with me. I'm like, that's pretty smart to remind yourself, last I sent a Facebook message, and then next time you said, well, I wouldn't go back and do a Facebook message again. Maybe I'll send a text message this time, or maybe I'll send an email. But making some variety in that, you can see what they respond to.
And I keep it very simple. Sometimes so basically what I do is I open up my Excel spreadsheet. I try to do it 2 or 3 times a week. I start where I left off. Okay. So if you haven't ever done it before, start at the top. Maybe see if you can do everybody whose last name is A.
Right.
Next time, everybody whose last name is B. But you just reach out to them. And it doesn't have to be something scary. It can be going to their Facebook page and commenting on one of their pictures.
Right.
Something that you pop up in their life.
Right.
It doesn't have to be an awkward phone call. Are they at work? I don't know. I'm calling. I don't have anything to say. I just want them to remember I'm a realtor and I need something. And that's when things get awkward.
Yeah, and uncomfortable for you and them.
Yes. So it doesn't have to be, reaching out to them doesn't have to be a phone call, depending on the client. So you go through, and some of the things I rotate is text, email, Facebook message, comment on a picture on their Facebook, and a call.
Okay.
And I just rotate those 5 things.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes me 4 months to get through my Excel database.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes me 2 months.
Okay.
So it just kind of depends how quickly you're going, how often are you being diligent about opening up your Excel spreadsheet and going through the people. And then by the time you get to the bottom, it's time to start over.
Go back to the top. How many people are on yours now?
You know, there are some people out there that try to have like thousands and thousands of people in their database.
Right.
I'm anti that for myself.
No, and I think the people who are most successful with actually contacting their database have a smaller sphere. So what is yours?
I try to keep it around 500.
Okay. That feels big to me, but you work in a large kind of volume. I have listened to, I feel like it was Lee Brown, who in her class, she was talking about it, and she does a very small, hers is like 130.
Yeah.
And if you aren't sending, and she's got a big team and a lot of obvious referrals and a lot of transactions over time, but if you weren't basically, when she contacted you, if you weren't building a relationship, like if you were rebuffing her, she would take you off and put someone else on. So it was sort of trying to stay under that 150 because she couldn't contact them the way she wanted to with a bigger one. So she had 500, she couldn't get through what I think the way she wanted to. And that can vary for every person. While we're on this, because I keep catching myself, please tell us, y'all, before we started, Alyssa told me that she doesn't like a particular terminology, and I am now realizing that I use it all the time. So I can't even talk normally because I think she's going to laugh at me. So please tell us.
I don't like when people say touch your database.
Tell us why.
I personally don't like to be touched. Like, don't touch me.
Okay.
So I just don't like when they're like, you need to be touching people. I'm like, I don't like that word. It should be communicating, following.
Like, what word do you use? Because I'm trying really hard to get through this without saying touch.
We can use touch. Just know I think it's creepy.
Okay, it's fine.
Don't touch me.
Did we talk about who should be touching their clients?
If you are a massage therapist.
Fair.
Or a hairdresser.
Have to.
Then you have to touch people.
Esthetician. Don't touch the face.
Me. I don't like when people say, I have a 33 touch system. I'm going to touch you 33 times
because you didn't
a year.
Want to be touched once.
Right.
Okay, but to be fair, everyone, your database and your sphere do want to be contacted. You don't have to reach out and touch them.
I like the word contacted. I don't like the word touched.
I like when they describe it as building a relationship, though, because that's what you're doing.
Right.
And that takes time, and we've harped on this a bit.
This is I obviously have a personal issue.
It's like
here.
I'm going to freak people out.
It's not an issue with everybody else.
It's just you, for sure. But here we go. Half of our audience is going to hate this. It's like the word moist. Like people have a thing with that. Do you?
Yeah.
See, maybe it falls in line with that. I don't know.
I cannot do unto others what I don't want done to me.
This is so true.
So, for example, whenever I am reaching out to people and contacting them, I don't ever want somebody to knock on my door.
No.
Therefore, I am not a door knocker.
Right. Makes sense.
There are people that enjoy that. I don't. I can't. if I would feel awkward having it done to me, I can't do it to other people.
Okay.
So that's why I think my approach with staying in touch with my database is very casual.
Right.
Most people, some realtors would not consider commenting on somebody's picture a contact. But it is to me because it means a lot to them. I'm being genuine about it. My name shows up in their world.
Yes.
So
No,
that's
I
all
think
it matters.
that is an appropriate contact.
It doesn't have to be a formal
No.
phone call that is just awkward.
A big scary phone call never works.
Right.
Okay.
And then the other thing with the 33 touch or the 15 touch or however many times you want to touch people, we sell real estate.
Right.
I do think you need to be in their mind. You can't be a secret agent. People need to remember you and think of you, but they do not need to hear from you 33 times a year.
No, probably not.
No. I mean, it's just overkill.
Well, and it's overwhelming to you. It's
Yes.
a system that you will set yourself up for failure because it's going to feel hard and it's going to feel like work and it's going to feel like it's taking so much time.
Right.
And God forbid you actually be a busy producing agent, then it's really going to fall by the wayside.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you that my favorite way to do the contacting is through social media. If you change your social media mindset to being a participant and not a stalker, watcher, onlooker,
Yeah.
it will change your life because all you have to do is go in. You can even on Facebook take all of your past clients or current clients and put them into a group called clients. And then you can make status posts to just that group of people.
That's awesome.
It's very neat. Or you can go hit the feed for just those people. So I can hit my client's feed and I can just burn down the list and say, your baby is so cute, right? You know, like I can't believe how big they've gotten. Like a picture, like every single picture.
That's awesome.
I wish I logged on and did it more, but I just do it as it comes natural. So I go onto my Facebook and instead of, and look across the board, other agents, family, whoever's on my Facebook, instead of me just looking at the picture and thinking, oh, I can't believe how big their son has gotten, or wow, look, so-and-so turned 75. Type a dang comment.
Right.
It is not that hard.
Right.
You are already on it. Just say, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's going to make a difference over time, and it really makes it easier to contact a lot of people at once.
Right. And I think if you were you were trying to contact your database 20 times a year. To me, too much. I'm sorry. Let's just use 33 for easy math because I have this written out.
Perfect.
So according to the National Association of Realtors, people buy a house every 9 years.
Okay.
I think that number is getting smaller. I think it's down to 7.
I think 7.
However, I use 9 because that's what was on their website. So if you wanted to touch someone 33 times a year for 9 years.
How many is that?
You have touched that one person 297 times. They probably hate you at this point.
That's a lot.
And if you have 500 people in your database, that's 148,500 contacts.
Yep.
Do you know how much time that would take?
You wouldn't have any time to sell any real estate or sell anything or have any business or do anything besides contact people.
If we were in a business like retail, makeup sales, things where people actually, hairdressers, things that you do multiple times a year,
right?
Those people do need to stay in front of their clients pretty regularly.
Makes sense.
However, when you're selling something as big as a house, you don't need to stay on top of your clients.
No.
Who was I talking to? I was talking to a realtor recently about the podcast, and I told them we were doing this episode, and they were so excited. And he said, okay, when I was a new agent, I was following up with my past client. I only had like 2 at the time. I was new. And the 4th time, the guy goes, you call a lot.
They'd already bought a house.
Yes, but he just felt like, okay, now they're in my database and I need to touch them this many times because I'm following this schedule. And he said it got awkward.
It is awkward.
And he stopped, which is good.
Well, right. So look, I don't know if that was positive or negative feedback, but it caused him to stop.
Well, he kind of was asked to.
Well, okay, so that's a great segue into what is your database? What is the origin of it? How do you build it? What if it's day one on the job
Yes.
and you have never sold even to 2 people? You don't know who's the database.
My database started from my wedding list.
That's perfect.
I had an Alyssa tab and I had a Tanner tab.
Love it.
And I called my mother-in-law and I said, I need to sit down with you for lunch. I'm bringing my laptop. We're going to go through the Tanner tab. And I need you to tell me in detail who these people are.
Yeah.
They were obviously enough in our life to be invited to the wedding.
Love it.
So me and her had lunch, and in my source column, I put Tanner's baseball coach, Tanner's high school driver before he could drive, Tanner's babysitter,
Wow.
Tanner's work partner, his mom's coworker.
Okay.
So that way I knew
Where they were from.
And this was how I started my database. If you are a new agent, I think you need to get an Excel spreadsheet perfectly filled out with no gaps in emails,
Yep.
no gaps in names, and no gap. Name, email, and address are really the top 3 things.
Gotta have. What about phone number? Do you care?
I do not put the phone number in the Excel spreadsheet
Well, how do you text them then?
from my phone.
But they're already in your contacts.
Yeah, I mean, if I have their number.
There's no one in your database that you wouldn't also have in your contacts.
Right.
Got it.
So I just think that I'm never going to say, I'm going to call that person. Let me go to my Excel spreadsheet.
No, you're just going to call them.
Right. It's just clutter to me for myself. So I have them, I just have their email.
No, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
I think I used to have their phone number, but it was just too much to keep up with. I never used it, and it was just clutter to me. So I deleted that column.
Okay.
Hey, Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
What do we mention almost every episode?
Email templates.
You're right, we sure do. And after every time we mention an email template, do you know what we get?
Emails asking if they can have copies of the email template.
Can you send me a copy of that template? I have never had one like that. That sounds great. And you know what the good news is?
What?
You can get all of our email templates from our course, Email Templates 101. Tell the people about it.
Our course has all of the email templates you would need to send to your buyers and your sellers and your clients that are buying and selling at the same time.
Exactly.
To get through every step of the transaction and giving them information that they need for where they are in the transaction.
It's great because you never forget to tell them something.
Yes, and we've already done all the work for you.
Yeah.
We wrote them, and
Yeah.
you can personalize them.
Yes.
And just feel organized knowing that you have all the information where it needs to be.
And if you purchase Email Templates 101, you do get lifetime access. So occasionally we like to go in and make updates based on the market, or if we find a new best practice, and we put that right into the template and you get that updated straight away.
It just goes straight to your course.
Yep. Right, it's just there.
amazing.
It's
It's just
already in
there.
there. It's just already in there. You don't even have to worry about it. We'll
That's
send you
wonderful.
an email and we'll say updated.
That's great. Where can they find these email templates?
You can find the email templates at emailtemplates101.com.
Emailtemplates101.com.
Yes, head over for reviews and all of the specifics.
Wonderful.
Okay, enjoy.
But as a new agent, 100 people. Set a goal. 100 people.
You do.
There is even, I think you can Google it, there's a sheet of who do you know?
Oh, it's build your database.
Build your
Y'all,
database.
go look up build your database or something to that effect. And this works for any business person who wants to start a business of any type. Go to build your I think I've found it before on Breakthrough Broker has an example. There are going to be a million different websites that have an example of how to build a database. But it's going to list for you things that you might not be thinking about.
Yes.
Your hairdresser, your dentist, your, babysitter, your
Who were your teachers from pre-K through high school? Who were your college professors? All of those people would love to get a letter from you or a Facebook message from
Yep.
you saying, hey, I haven't talked to you in so long. I'm actually in real estate now.
Yep.
If you know anybody, keep me in mind.
Yeah, because most people have, hundreds of Facebook friends.
Yes.
If you can't find 100 of those that work as your database, something's not right.
In our office, our broker mails out 250 announcement cards for you.
Wow.
Yes. So they make a postcard with your picture and it says, CJ Brown is so excited to have Alyssa Jenkins as their new realtor. Here's
Okay.
her contact information.
Okay.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And every agent should do an announcement card
For
when you're
sure.
new. Or if you've been a realtor for a while and you are now solo, do an announcement card to your
Yep.
database. Or if you have started a team, do an announcement card. If anything that you need to announce about your business that your clients need to know, I think an announcement card is a really nice professional way to do that. So that sets a good goal. If you're new, you need all of these people's contact information. Set a goal of 100, make your way to 250, and just focus on that. We basically collect people.
We do.
And we need to get all the pertinent information so that we can communicate effectively.
Okay, this is where I want to talk about cleaning your database, though, since
Yes.
we're filling it up.
Yes.
I also want to give you permission to delete people from your database. If when you look at their name, it sparks some sort of anxiety in you, you don't want to text them or send them a Facebook message, it's okay to let them go.
Yes.
If they're a past client and you had an unpleasant transaction and you don't actually want to work with them again, it's okay to let them go. I am about 150 people in my database. On my past client list, it's much longer. If it were people that I no longer felt comfortable contacting, maybe too much time has passed. Maybe we didn't have a pleasant experience. Maybe they, whatever. I wouldn't say moved out of state, even though I do kind of take it into account depending on what it is. But I've had clients move out of state and then back.
Right.
So I don't know that you automatically want to remove those. But if you don't actually want to contact them, take them off. I think it's better to have 80 people in your database that you actually want to contact than 300 people and you don't want to talk to half of them.
You do not need to be everybody's realtor.
No.
I have had closings where after closing, I said, this person is not going in my database. The way that they treated and spoke to me throughout this transaction.
Yeah.
If they call me again to list another house, I would say, I don't think that we worked well together in our last transaction.
Right.
And I think that you would be better served by using another realtor.
I think that's okay.
It is
I
okay.
think we have to give ourselves that permission. And I think the problem is when you're new, you get into the mindset of, I'm hungry, I need to do everything and take anything. And then it just sticks with you and you're 5 years down the road and you don't even stop and realize, I don't have to take them all.
Right.
I will still be okay if I don't waste my energy on this person who was sucking up all my time, who wasn't kind to me, who was not good to work with. I might end up with 2 or 3 additional clients that I now have time for.
Right. And when you're working with people that appreciate you and that love you, the referrals are usually of similar quality. And if you're weeding out the bad eggs, every year your business gets better and better and more enjoyable.
For sure. You want me to do some stats?
Yes, please.
Okay, so 39% of sellers who used an agent found them through a referral.
That's
So
awesome.
that 100 people that you have in your database. Okay, let's, for instance, say everyone knows 100 people. That's what they say. I'm doing my air quotes, people. Everyone knows 100 people. So in my database, there are 157 people. If they each know 100 people, that's 15,700 people that my database is connected to. If I only want to do 50 transactions, which is, more than I've ever done and a lot for way over average. But if I only want to do 50, that is only 0.3%, not even 1%, 0.3% of the people that my database knows.
Yeah.
So it's not, that's it. You touch these 150, 100 people, 80 people, however many it is, if you're doing it right and they're starting to refer you, you're not trying to do 3,000 transactions.
Right.
Look at it in context.
Yes. If you're not focusing your time in the right place, it's just you're going to be spinning your wheels. You're going to be distracted. Nothing is going to be done with intentionality.
Nope, not at all.
But when you're actually intentional about it,
it's going to make a difference.
you'll get results.
Here's the other stat that was good. 69%, and these are from NAR in 2018. 69% of sellers say they would use their realtor again, but only 24% did.
And I think that is where people are not using their database.
Right.
They're not contacting their past clients at all.
Right.
The closing table happens and that is it. They don't speak to them again. I can't tell you how many times I have listed a house and I'm always curious who sold them the house.
Right. I always look.
I look and, sometimes I'm surprised and sometimes I'm not. I'm like, these people, for whatever reason, are not being called back by their clients
Yep.
to be their listing agent.
Right. I always want to ask. Like, part of me has this curiosity I want, because I also want to know, what am I doing wrong with my past clients? Because look, let's be honest, not every one of my past clients called me back, and then you see their listing on the MLS and you're like, oh, that hurts. Like, why? What did I do wrong? And then I'll think, I haven't talked to them in years. Why haven't I been
my
talking?
fault.
It's totally my fault.
Right.
So it's very interesting. I would love to know.
Yes.
And sometimes people just don't work well together. It doesn't mean that you're not going to work well with someone else.
So I went on a listing interview somewhat recently.
Okay.
And she said when I got there, I said, do you mind me asking how you got my information?
Okay.
And she said, yes, I was just Googling around. And
Okay.
I was like, okay, fair enough.
Super.
That doesn't happen. Usually it's all referral based at this point. And she said, and I did the whole listing interview, and she was excited, and we were signing papers. We signed the papers.
Okay.
And she goes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And she was a younger girl. I just felt like I could ask her. I had looked up who her realtor was when she bought it.
Okay.
It was someone I knew.
Uh-oh.
So I went on the interview, and that's her choice, you know?
Right.
And before I left, I said, do you mind me asking, why not just use the realtor that helped you buy the house? I can't remember her name.
That's what she said?
Yes.
Oh.
And I said, I could have given you her name.
Right.
I felt like I needed to say that because this person I kind of know
Okay.
and friends with, whatnot.
Right.
And she said, well, if they didn't communicate with me
They don't want me.
and you already showed up and did all the work, like I don't want to. She was like, I'm good.
Okay.
But I felt like I needed to offer. Normally, I don't feel like I need to offer. That's on them. But I just felt like I wanted to ask. I felt comfortable, and she was honest, and it was interesting to get that answer. That was the answer. The answer was, I've lived in this home 3 years, and I haven't spoken to them since the closing table.
Right. Like, I don't remember. Literally, I don't remember their name.
remember their name. I couldn't remember. And she said when she was Googling, she tried to find this person.
hers.
And then
Wow.
couldn't and found someone else and called them, and I showed up. And we clicked, and it worked out.
Oh, right.
But it's a good lesson to learn, and it was a good lesson for me to learn because it made me go, I probably need to get back in. I probably need to increase my, we're coming out of summer. It was a busy summer. I probably haven't worked my database as frequently as I should have, which is fine. But one thing I do like to do to clean out my database, which is helpful, I do 2 big mail outs every year.
Okay.
Those are good to do because you see which ones come back.
Yes.
And you're like, wait a minute.
Right.
Why didn't this get delivered?
Uh-huh.
And it's a reason for me to contact and say, hey, I mailed you the LSU football schedule,
Right.
but it came back. Did you move?
Right. Did you sell your house? Please say no.
And not call me? And I've never had anyone say that they moved.
Right.
But sometimes it was just like a mail glitch and I remailed it.
Okay.
There have been times where they moved out of state and had a relocation company that had to sell the house. But I wouldn't have known that. And so
You had to ask.
Right. So my 2 mail outs every year are my Christmas cards.
Okay.
I send out my family Christmas card to everybody.
With your picture of you and your family.
Yes.
Okay.
To my clients, to my family.
Yep.
My clients and my family get the same one.
Got it.
I feel like as a realtor, we're relational people. It's okay. You don't have to keep that separate.
Yeah. So that's an interesting point. That's almost how my pared down database was born.
Yeah.
Because I would send a client always from the beginning. I sent client Christmas cards. It's the one mailer I would do every year. And I would just get, like a standard Christmas card. It wasn't my picture. It was just like a Merry Christmas, whatever.
Sure.
And then some of my clients, they were becoming close enough to me where I knew they wanted to see my family. And they would want to see and then all of a sudden that list was getting very long, plus my family. I'm like, wait a minute. These are the people that belong on my database to contact. It's the people who I would actually send a picture of my family to.
If you don't feel comfortable sending them your family Christmas card, they should not be in your database.
Right.
At all.
Then, because you haven't built a relationship.
Right.
And you're not close enough to show them a picture of your family at Christmas time. You're not close.
Right.
If you wouldn't be friends with them on Facebook, then you're not close enough.
I don't want a generic multi-copy mailer sent to my people because that tells them you're not special.
No doubt.
We don't have a relationship.
Right. We should talk about we didn't plan to talk about handwritten notes, but that's like my baby. I love a handwritten note. I hate when I don't have time to do them. I could never pass it off. Like I want to say with my hand onto the paper, because I've seen these technology companies now where you can put your database in and they'll send what appears to be a handwritten note from you.
Yeah.
It makes my skin crawl.
I don't hate it.
That's fine, because look, you're trying to contact 500 people. So within reason, there's only so much you can do. And look, to be fair, I'm not writing a letter to all 157 people in mine, but if you send me a referral, you get a handwritten note.
I don't know if I said this when I was saying it, but handwritten card is one of my things in my rotation.
Okay. How often is that?
It's not. I mean, it's one of the 5 or 6 or 7
So maybe
things.
only once a year.
Yeah, maybe only once a year.
Okay.
Maybe once every other year.
Well, that's still enough.
Yeah.
If people, did we talk about how often people move? You said 9 years?
Every 9 years.
So look, even if you sent them one every other year, you should catch them where they're like, oh, yep, Alyssa was my realtor. I remember her name. I see her face on this card. I do have thank you notes now that on the back, it has my picture.
Okay.
So
I
it
like
says thank you on the front, but on the back, it's a picture of me with my contact info, just so that I don't need to sign the card.
You hand wrote it.
I hand wrote the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important.
And I think that's fine. Okay. What else do we have? Oh, can we talk about, look, every guru, every CRM company will tell you the things that you need to put in your database.
Yeah.
You need their name and their phone number and their email, fine. But they will also sometimes tell you to get their anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a client survey that I give at closing where they fill out what's their new mailing address going to be, especially if it's a seller going somewhere else that I didn't sell them the house. What are their kids' birthdays? What are their birthdays? What method do they like to be contacted by?
Yeah.
I do like that one where it says email, text, phone, Facebook, Instagram, other. How do you want to be contacted? That's a great thing to ask your people. But one of them,
people like my husband would be like, don't talk to me ever.
Please don't bother me. Right? Just leave me alone. Maybe they're not good for the database.
Right.
But they had anniversary on there. Wedding anniversary,
Sure.
which is all fine and dandy. If you're keeping good tabs on your people and you want to send them an anniversary card, fine. But sadly, the divorce rate is pretty high. I don't think I feel comfortable sending out an anniversary card. What if it's not appropriate anymore?
Well, even if you have we cannot do it all. It goes back to our quote, you can do anything, but not everything.
Exactly.
And if you have 100 people in your database, you would have to hire a full-time person to make sure that 100 people were touched 30 times a year and got a birthday card, and every one of their kids was remembered and their pet's named. That is not our job. We do not need to know all of that.
No.
It's just
But if you build
unnecessary.
like an actual relationship with a person where you happen to remember that they have a beagle and its name is Buddy and it was so cute and sweet and you remember, then fine, tell them about that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to force that with everybody. It's funny you should say that. So I had a total database failure. This was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I'm like, I am gonna send out birthday cards. I've collected all these birthdays. Why don't I go ahead and send cards? So I got a great big box of different kinds of birthday cards from Amazon. I'm so jazzed. They just say happy birthday in, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time writing a message. Just sign my name, send it to them, which is fine. In January, February, and March. And I'm cranking through them. I'm so proud of myself. And then it got busy. I think I made it to May. So
wow, that's pretty far.
It's decent, but guess what? Some of those people were married, and their spouse's birthday was probably in September. So it's I sent the wife a card in January, and then by September I had failed.
Forgotten.
Why?
Yeah. You're
it
too
didn't
busy.
work.
Too busy.
It just, and then I was oh, it's too late now. I can't go back. I gave it up. And look, there are systems for that. I'm sure there's a lovely online system that will send them out for you, and I'm not against it.
I use the Facebook birthdays.
Oh, yeah.
As a way. So Facebook is in itself its own database.
Yes.
I do try to keep it clean. I know you have limited friends. So
are you up to 5,000?
Not yet, but you have to be careful.
Holy moly.
So what I do is every day, whenever Facebook is here are the birthdays today, I go through and say, do I know this group of people?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 5 people's birthday. Sometimes it's 15 or 20 people's birthday.
Okay.
But I try to go through, and if I don't know them, I unfriend them. Happy birthday.
That's a weird thing to do, but a great time because it brought it back to your.
Well, if you do it every day and you go through a year, you have cleaned out your Facebook.
I can't even that you unfriended them on their birthday.
I don't know you.
Look, if I don't know you and I don't want to tell you happy birthday, that's an appropriate
Then we
time.
shouldn't be friends.
We're not friends.
So that's how I do it on Facebook. It kind of helps me. But people sometimes get too focused on social media and Facebook.
Yeah.
And they forget that there are people not on there.
That's true.
That's why I like your column.
Yeah.
Tell about it.
Oh, so I have a column on my database that says, are we Facebook friends? It's just a yes or no. Are we or are we not? Like, I don't know if I'm friends with you on Facebook.
Well, I feel like you need to remember the people that you aren't friends with on Facebook.
This is a good way to take it.
Facebook makes you feel more connected than you really are. It kind of gives you a false sense of security.
I think that's fair. You think you put a post out there and everybody knows your friends saw it. And then later on, you're like, oh, hey, you didn't see my post on whatever? And they're like, no. And I'm like, that's pretty ridiculous.
I can't tell you how many of my good friends didn't see my podcast announcement.
They're like, wait, what?
Yeah, and then I bring it up and they're like, you have a podcast? I'm like, it's been a week. You didn't know?
Right.
And I put too much confidence in the fact that Facebook will reach the masses.
It doesn't.
And it doesn't. It just doesn't. And you have to be aware of who's not even on there.
Yes.
So sure. I think that's really important. It just goes to show that that's why I like the Excel spreadsheet is that I go down and look at each person's name. When did I last contact them? How did I do it? And I like alternating also because what if I text them and don't get a response or it doesn't go through, or it lets me know they must have gotten a new phone number.
Yep.
Or same with email. People actually get new email addresses a good bit. They switch jobs.
Yep.
And so if you email them and don't get a response, it lets you know I may need to call or text them and say, hey, did you get a new email address? So by contacting them in several different avenues, it also keeps their contact information up to date.
That makes sense.
And they may have lost your number.
Fair.
Or they may have lost your email. And so that's why I like rotating how I contact them.
Okay, listen to this story. This just happened last night. In fact, like late at night. I was getting ready to go to bed. I look in my Instagram. I have a message from a past client. And she says, hey, I tried to send you a text message and it wouldn't go through. And I'm like, immediately I message back. I'm like, this is my phone number. And I'm like, what can I do for you? She responds back with, we're ready to start looking again. It's probably been 5 years or maybe a little less. And this is what we're looking for, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to text you now and make sure that we're connected. But she had to use another avenue to get to me because there was some sort of disconnect.
Right.
But if you're not connecting with your people in different ways, then they don't know how to find you.
When I was new, I had a past client that I really liked. We just had a good relationship the whole transaction. I was sad at closing. I was going to miss her. Well, after closing, she never responded.
You were like,
I was so sad. I was emailing her, hey, how's the house? And during the transaction, we emailed. We were emailers.
Okay.
She did not have Facebook.
Okay.
So I couldn't rely on that. And she never responded. I'm so mad at myself looking back at young little Alyssa Realtor who was too scared to pick up the phone. But one day, after a year, I guess, I called her.
You were like, hey.
And she answered.
Oh.
And was like happy.
You thought you weren't friends anymore.
I thought she was going to be like, oh, here she is. Because she never responded. And I was like, hey, I had emailed you a couple times checking on you. Oh, well, I switched schools. She's a teacher. I switched schools. So I don't have that email. So here I was for a whole year feeling like she hates me. She's not responding. And all it was that wasn't her email. And I should have picked up the phone.
We have to get out of our own way sometimes.
We do. It was a mindset issue that I was having. And now I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And you just have to figure out, you cannot get in your head and think that people don't like you.
No. All right. I want to make sure we touch on something. This episode is going to follow the 2 episodes of Realtor Safety and Carl's interview. And I want to point out that working your database is a far safer practice than getting strangers off of the internet or a sign call or whatever method you want in an open house. these are people you actually know and can vet pretty easily. And if you get a referral from one of the people in your database, they know them and are vouching for them, and they're not a bad person.
This is the safest, happiest business that you can have.
It really is. Like, I am a huge advocate for this for those reasons. It's easier, it's more fun, it's safer. There's no reason not to do this.
It is also the most productive.
For sure, because you don't have to, they already know, like, and trust you.
Yes.
You're so far ahead of the curve as opposed to someone who's calling you blindly off of Google or wherever they found you.
And it's, I think, also the most neglected.
Absolutely.
You think all these realtors are out there working their database, but from the conversations I've had with the public, half the people do not remember their realtor's name.
And that's very common. You know, I've done Brian Buffini's Referral Maker before. I've done his Blitz program, which are all great, and he's been focused on database since way back. I mean, like years and years and years, and he's built a very successful coaching business off of it. And it is very interesting because that is one of the most common things. When he talks to someone out in the public, he meets a person at the bank or someone he doesn't know, and he says that he is a realtor, and they say, oh, wow. And he's like, do you own your house? Oh, yeah, we bought one last year. And he always would say, who sold you your house?
Mm-hmm.
Many, many, many times they would be like, oh, I can't remember their name.
Yeah.
That's so common.
That's crazy.
It's very crazy.
One thing I did earlier this year that I thought was great, I organized my database by zip code. That's another thing I like about Excel.
Because you can sort it.
I sorted the zip code column.
Okay.
And I chose, I think, 10 people in 70809.
Okay.
And got the $3 bottle wine from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Which is delicious.
Right.
It's a cool looking bottle, and everybody loves Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
And put a, hey, was in your area, thought of you.
And put it on their doorstep.
And just left it on their door.
I love it.
And it only takes like 45 minutes to do 10 people.
Because you were in the same area.
Yeah,
that was
all
genius.
The same area. And I'll be even more honest, I paid a new agent to deliver them for me.
There you go.
And it wasn't much to pay her because it was only an hour of time.
Right. Oh, very smart.
It was just easy.
What are your favorites?
And then in my contact column, I just put delivered wine.
Right.
So they know.
So next time a different zip code will get it.
Yeah.
How often do you think you'll do that? That was a new thing.
I haven't. I need to do that more. I like that.
That's cool.
It was easy.
How was the response?
So good. When they got home from work, I immediately got text messages from all of them.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Thanks.
I love it.
And it made me feel good.
That's what's so fun about touching your
loved it.
database. It makes you feel good. I
Yeah.
had a teacher that I saw on Facebook. Someone I sold a house to probably 5 years before, she was on Facebook and said she won Teacher of the Year.
Oh.
And that it was popping a bottle of cheap champagne with her husband because, well, she's a teacher. Y'all, this is probably one of my proudest moments. I went and bought like a $50 bottle of champagne and I shipped it to her.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, teachers are awesome and you deserve more than a cheap bottle of champagne. That's so awesome that you won Teacher of the Year. Well, I mean, that makes like a huge, and that wasn't why I did it. I just felt like she deserved it and that was awesome.
Yeah.
But there she is posting on Facebook and saying how cool her realtor is and how great. And she's so like thankful. And I was so thankful for her.
There was 3 years ago, I had a client who was a teacher, and I ended up selling 4 teachers at the same school, this small school.
Love it.
Houses, all 4 of them.
Okay.
And I was like, within a very small time frame, and I thought, I need to do something for them. So I asked them, how many teachers are in your school total? 8. There were 8.
That was it.
Yeah, it's a small
And you
school.
sold half of them a house.
Yes. So I went to Target and I got 8 clear boxes and I filled it with Expo markers, Purell hand sanitizer, stickers, just fun things.
Yes.
And I delivered the 8 boxes to the school at the beginning of the school year.
Fun.
And it was just like with my card on it, you know,
Right.
and it was just fun having them all grouped together like that.
And doesn't it just make you feel warm and fuzzy?
It does.
It makes you feel good. Just giving is like my favorite thing.
It is.
Oh, it's so fun.
And it's not, you don't have to spend all this money doing that.
No, you don't.
So my dad is a real estate appraiser.
Right.
Back in the day, you could choose your appraiser.
Oh, that's right.
Which blows my mind.
That's so different now.
Now you cannot even know your appraiser.
It's like they're going around in masks.
Right. If my dad gets an order to appraise a house and I am the listing or buyer's agent, he has to decline it.
Yeah.
He says I cost him business.
Sorry.
Sorry, Dad. But when we were little, he had to hustle
Yeah.
and keep good relationships with lenders and realtors.
Right.
And at Christmas time, he would load the back of his car with those tubs of popcorn. You know, the ones that have the divider?
Oh, yes,
And
the
it's
3
like
types.
cheddar, caramel.
Please tell me which kind you like. I want to hear it.
I'm a white cheddar
I love the white cheddar.
or caramel.
Yeah, yep.
Those are my 2 go-tos.
Yep, love it.
But he would load that in the car,
Okay.
and me and my sisters.
And y'all would drive.
And we would just make our rounds to the banks and real estate
Mhm.
companies.
Love it.
And he would deliver popcorn.
It's so sweet.
Isn't that cute?
I love it. Oh, it's so fun. Have we covered everything? I feel like I could talk about this literally all day, and we say that on so many of our episodes. But the truth is, this topic can be taken in so many directions.
Yes.
And there's so much you can do for your database. There's like a million things. Y'all don't feel overwhelmed by how many choices. Just pick one. Pick
Right.
one that speaks to you.
Right.
You want to go comment on Facebook posts? Do that. You want to send text messages all day? Do that. Just pick something today and contact at least 10 people in your database.
And have them somewhere. If you are operating without a database and you have some people
Yeah.
here and some people there, and they're in your phone and they're in your email, and then you have Facebook, it's not going to sustain you.
No.
You have to have everybody
No.
in one place. We don't care where that is. But if you want to see a copy,
Oh, that's right. We are willing to share what the columns and the blank, we'll send out the blank spreadsheet. So what we're using to keep our database organized, if you want a copy of that, I think we'll take emails, right?
yeah, just shoot us an email at
hustlehumblypodcast@gmail.com.
yes, hustlehumblypodcast@gmail.com. Just email us and say that you want a copy of our blank Excel spreadsheet just so you can see it and use it if you would like.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're happy to share it.
I think that's awesome.
Toast.
Oh my gosh. We did not even talk about who we wanted to toast to.
So today I got a message from one of our listeners who
Okay.
is a new agent in Houston.
Okay.
Her name is Rachel Hartzog.
Oh, I love it.
I know her because back in the day when we were little, we took dance together.
Fun. Okay.
And we are Facebook friends. And she messaged me last year, told me that she wanted to get into real estate. I told her the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay.
And we didn't meet for coffee because she was in Houston. But we talked a lot on Facebook. And she messaged me today
Okay.
and said that she is halfway through the first episode and loves it.
I love it.
And it just made me happy to know that it's helping her, it's encouraging her in Houston.
Yes. That's what it's here for.
Yeah, and she is going to be so good, y'all.
Ooh, good. Okay.
Like, we're going to have to watch her because she is going to be dominating Houston.
Well, we need a good place to send our leads to in Houston. People are constantly
Yeah, if
moving
you need
there.
a Houston agent, let me know because I think she's going to be
I love it.
amazing.
Okay, so toast to
Toast to Rachel
to
Hartzog.
Rachel. Okay, that's awesome. And y'all,
Cheers.
cheers. We really, really need you to send us who you want us to toast to.
Yes.
We're just coming up with these literally on the fly now.
But we know that you have people out there that you want to submit their success
Yes.
story or your own. We want to hear your success stories. We just think it's cool. It's
Yes.
encouraging. We want to hear about it.
Love it. That's it.
Send
Episode
it to
9
us.
in the
Yes.
books, people.
See you next time.
Okay, bye, y'all.
Thank you so much for tuning